Welcome to the project initiation demo. Here's an overview of today's session and what we want you to walk away with, which is an understanding of the eBuilder navigation, familiarity of what the system will look like upon login, and the benefits of eBuilder. So what's the purpose of this eBuilder demo sessions? The demo session is part of a larger series geared towards providing end users with a sneak peek of the eBuilder system before go live. Please note that these demo sessions are not comprehensive of all eBuilder capabilities and are not meant to replace training. Additional system training and resources will be provided closer to system launch. Be on the lookout for more information regarding training as your regional go-live dates approach. So how can you ask questions? Even though this session is recorded, you still have the ability to raise queries. All questions should be submitted through our Dory, go/Galaxy Demos. We will use the Dory to capture all questions and will respond to questions ASAP, as well as sharing them in our recaps. All of these links are also in demo communications. We encourage you all to pull up the Dory page on your laptops as you watch this demo in case any questions come up. So now that we have covered off the demo session logistics, let's learn more about the project initiation process. For the purpose of the demo sessions, we'll be creating an ad hoc demo project, Project Tiki Hawaii 2.0. Don't get too excited. Unfortunately, we're still not building an office in Hawaii, and this is just for demo purposes. So our scenario, we have acquired new space and are looking to expand Tiki Hawaii. This means that we are going to need to take the initial steps to set up an ad hoc Project Tiki Hawaii 2.0. Objective of project initiation is to make sure everyone is aware of pipeline projects and kickoff timelines. Therefore, it's key that all parties understand the process of initiating a project and are aware of their roles and responsibilities. Project initiation process allows greater visibility into future projects and earlier baselining of capital projects. It is important to gain funding and stage gate approval after initiating an ad hoc project in eBuilder. Follow along with the project team through the project lifecycle and processes in the eBuilder system. It's important to set project initiation guidelines in order to understand the process requirements, as well as to plan ahead and ensure the key information is gathered and communicated from project conception. The process will benefit us by 1. Streamline processes, 2. Create governance and alignment globally, 3. Allow greater visibility, and 4. Secure early seed funding to capitalize early project costs. Today, we will walk you through the critical steps to initiate your project: ad hoc project creation, perform QA/QC on PIORs, initiate admin tasks, start project funding via fund management process, approve projects, and complete admin and onboard team. Project initiation is the process of activating potential projects and formalizing the beginning and existence of the project within all of Google systems. It's a core component and initial step to project development. This means you play a vital role to the successful setup of future projects and processes. Let's review the workflow for the PIR process. Project initiation and setup in eBuilder can be done through bulk imports of capital projects. And for bulk import requests, the process workflow will skip additional approvals and directly create the project in the system. Ad hoc project creation through the project initiation request, PIR process. The project will then go through a QA/QC approval for ad hoc requests only. The source of these ad hoc project requests will likely originate from monthly commercial reviews, emergency situations, expedited, escalated business requests, critical needs, or any missed capital project entries from the capital planning process. For requests outside of capital plan bulk upload, the GE provides additional review and approval for projects to be created. Bulk project uploads and ad hoc project initiations are typically done either by the owner's project representatives, the OPR, the project administrator, PA, or the owner's on-site rep, the OR. Ad hoc project intakes are typically reviewed by the QA, QC, Quality Assurance, Quality Control, and Google executive roles. Complete admin tasks to streamline the creation of project folders, onboard the project teams, and populate contact lists for all relevant stakeholders on the project throughout the project lifecycle. So now I'll hand you over to Jake to take us through the system itself.
Thanks, Orla. So we're going to jump into the system very shortly. Just before we do, we're going to learn a little bit more about the ad hoc project intake. So project initiation and setup in eBuilder can be done one of two ways, either through a bulk import of records or an ad hoc project creation through the project initiation request process. And that's what we're going to go through today. So this ad hoc project intakes are typically done by the owner's on-site representative, the OR, project administrator, the PA, and the owner's program representative, so that's the OPR. So now we're going to jump into the eBuilder system, and we'll take you through the steps to create an ad hoc project request. Cool, so we start by going go/eBuilder. Log in using your Google credentials. Now, for the purposes of this, I'm going to use the UAT platform, but of course, in real time, we would be doing production. Cool. So first step, once we've logged in and we're on the home page, is to go to the Projects tab. We then use this project here, the Ruse Project Initiation Requests. So we click into this. The next step on the project menu on the left-hand side here, so we go down to Processes, and then Start Process in the top right-hand corner up here. This pops a new window open, and Project Initiation Request is the option we want. So now we're required to complete all mandatory fields. So project title. The purposes of this, I'll choose PIR demo session, but of course you'd be putting a more appropriate title in for an actual project. Portfolio, the choice between REDEB and WDD. Project currency, I'll leave as USD for this, but of course, whichever currency your project is being paid for, you would choose that. I'll choose no for seed funding required, but just answer as accordingly. Capital plan ID, again, you would put the typical ID in there. I'm just putting some filler in for this. And process bulk import, as we're doing an ad hoc project initiation request, that is no. Project scope description, again, I'm just going to put some filler text in here saying PIR demo session, but again, you would put in the proper scope for that. Program name, again, selection between different program names. Let's choose interiors for this. Fixed exchange rate, for projects not in USD, you would be required to put in the fixed exchange rate here. Obviously, this project, I've chosen USD, so we leave that as 1. Project type up here, again, the difference of project types. For the purposes of this, I'll choose an expansion. More mandatory fields in the project overview. Obviously, I've chosen expansion as my project type, so I then choose new space as classifications. Owned or leased building, choose leased for this. Occupancy type, again, self-explanatory. Annual plan priority, I'll choose P0, but answer accordingly. CapEx is pre-populated and we'll leave it as that. Current stage gate, as we're doing a project initiation request, there will be no funding approved, so I'll be putting NA for that. Few bits of information are required on the geo, building and land details. I'll choose Americas for this, given that I've chosen USD as the project currency. Country, the USA. State and province, New York. City, again, New York. Building ID, select your building ID here. Just choose Chelsea for the purposes of this session. Does this project have a land ID record? Answer appropriately. Then further down, project stakeholders. So my GE, for the purposes of this, I'm going to select as Orla. And my QA is going to be Nathaniel. There he is. OPR, again, for the purposes of this, I'm not sure it's applicable, but I'll choose myself. That's the mandatory fields that we've completed there. Obviously, if you have additional information, you can complete it, but as a minimum requirement, mandatory information needs to be filled. The next step here is just to submit. So I had already done one for this, hence it's come up as a duplicate in a practice session. So I'm just going to change that for 2, but that's a good example of an error message you might get. So I've just added in a unique project title there. All the other information stays the same. With a bit of luck, that will be submitted.
Thanks, Jake. So the next step is the review of the ad hoc project intake. So the ad hoc project intake is reviewed by the quality assurance, quality control, and then reviewed ultimately by the Google executive. So I'm going to take the screen again and jump right back into the system. So on the eBuilder homepage under My Processes, in the instance column, we're going to find the project initiation request. We're going to click on it to open the process. Then we're going to review the record to ensure all fields marked with a red asterisk are populated. And then under the project stakeholders, we're going to populate this. Now we could do already dev. For Google as well, we go Sol. And then we're going to, on the take action, we're going to mark this as approved. And then it will go on to Orla, the GE, for a final approval. And then click take action.
Okay, so now we're going to look at approving ad hoc project intakes, and they are typically done by Google executives. So let's go through the steps. First thing is, let's get into eBuilder, go/eBuilder, choose my account, and I'm brought straight into my UAT. Under my processes, I'll see anything that's in my court, and I'll go down through and you'll see there's a lot of various processes there. So I am looking for, here we have our PIR demo session 2. So I'm going to click on that, and the system brings me into an additional information screen. And ultimately what I want to do is look down through the particulars and make sure I'm comfortable with all the data and the input for this PIR itself. So really what I want to go down through is look at the general information, the actual program details on there, information in relation to the project overview itself, any particulars in relation to the building, where it's located, lease details or whatnot, anything that I should be familiar with knowing that this project is coming along. I also see the project stakeholders, Jake and Nathaniel there, and any extra details that Nathaniel has added there in relation to the project management groups. So if I'm comfortable with that, I literally go down to my please select action. I choose approve, and I will take action. There is a button there called revise. And if there was any revisions or changes needed, we would use that revise button. We could add a comment in that, and ultimately this window will appear where you can provide extra information or comments in relation to whatever revisions are needed. So you can select that revise and submit your comments and then send it back for those revisions. So that concludes the project initiation eBuilder demo. Thanks for tuning in. We'd love to hear your feedback on how the demo went. And please take a moment to complete this 30-second survey on your experience with today's session by visiting Go Galaxy Demo Surveys, and make sure to tune in to the next eBuilder demo recording.